up, turn me up.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Merry Bunch podcast. I'm Brianna,
Nico,
Crystal,
Chris,
Keonda,
William,
and we are the Bunch. On this episode, we're talking about the unifying of family and how it's important for a well-rounded union. The Bunch talks about in-laws, co-parenting, and how to navigate through not always positive experiences. So the first thing we're going to talk about is merging families. So the Bunch, when should you introduce your family to friends or significant others? Who wants to chime in?
For me, I would say, well, I feel like you should probably be speaking to this person a couple months or something like that, but it don't always work that way. What you think?
I feel like if you feel like it's some seriousness into it, like, you know, this isn't somebody that you feel like, oh, we're casually dating. I mean, I know that sometimes like stuff happens and you don't stay with a person forever, but you have to have some type of feeling like this is going to go somewhere. Mm-hmm. And if you don't feel like it's going to go somewhere, it's no need in mixing stuff. So you have to have that feeling of, yeah, this could possibly be something more than just dating. You know, that's how I feel.
Well, I think you should at least get to know that person a little bit beyond just the introduction before you even attempt to try to introduce that person to anybody in your family. Parents, kids, friends, anybody. You should get to know that person because people crazy. So
that's true. Yeah, I definitely agree, get to know the person, but I feel like you really know when you want to introduce that person to your family. You know when you're serious about that person and where y'all trying to go with it.
So it was a while before I brought Chris around to meet my family. But as far as meeting his family, it was right away. Because like I said, he always had his kids. And he lived next door to his aunt and uncle. So it was like instantly. So.
All right.
For us, it was kind of like I met his mom pretty early on. But for me, it took a while before he actually like met my kids.
Long
it was
time.
Yeah, it was it was a while before he actually got to meet my kids. And the same before I got to meet his kids too. So we waited a while before.
But the situation as far as the kids was different from me and you. But,
yeah.
But
yeah, we waited a while for our kids, but I did meet his mom right away.
Babe, how about for us?
I think as far as everybody meeting you, I definitely started with my friends. And then we had an interaction that was weird. We went to Walmart while we was hanging out with our friends, and we ran into my family. So that was kind of how that happened. But you weren't supposed to meet them, but you did. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, but so it definitely started with friends, and then trickled on down to everybody else.
Yeah, I think I met your mom. I think that first Thanksgiving we were together. I think that's when I met your mom.
I think so. I can't really remember. It's kind of blurred now.
And then my mom and sister live out of state, so they came for my graduation. And then when they came, that's when they had met Nico for the first time.
Yes. So
but
that was like a year.
Yeah, that was like almost maybe like 6 months or whatever.
6 months, yeah.
But they had talked to him on the phone and things like that. But early on, like you guys said earlier, we knew it was going to be something, so we didn't mind letting our friends and family meet. So for everyone else, like, how do you build and merge families, extended families before you get married? How do you merge both sides?
For us, I think it started, like with his family, I know we met towards October. So the first time I think I really interacted with his family was Thanksgiving, I think. I had came down.
Thanksgiving?
I think so. I interacted with your family on Thanksgiving. And then with our kids, we ended up taking them to like Pullen Park one day.
Yeah,
and that's
together.
how we all, we interacted. You know, we got our kids to meet each other. And then from there, we, you know, started
building.
interacting. My mom and family and stuff like that. You know, we always having something around my family. So it was easy to just bring him to a cookout or something going on.
It was a while before I met your family. I think I met the girls first. And then I think I met Nico and them before I actually like met your mom and everybody.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was one night he came over.
Yeah.
Actually, yep. Came over and yeah, so but it was a while, but it was just like a gathering. We just brought everybody, you know, to a gathering. It was a gathering and we all kind of got together like that.
Yeah, I think that's how it happened.
Yeah, I know for us it was important to merge our families and to have our families comfortable with each other because we are getting, you know, we were getting married, we were establishing something together. So I think it's always important if you can bring both sides together. And so I think that first summer we were together, he traveled back home to Seattle with me. And so he got to spend time with my mom one-on-one. And then after that, we just decided that during holidays for Thanksgiving or for Christmas to do some type of trip with the family. Right. And that really allowed us to get to know each other and enjoy each other. So that really brought all of our families closer.
Definitely. And I know a lot of people with meeting their families and meeting relatives and all that, it can be a big task. But for me, you know, meeting my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, it was just like, I've been knowing them. There was no difference. Like, we didn't have to ease into anything. I know when I went to Seattle for that, you know, year of us meeting, her mom was like, she was driving and doing everything. I'm like, you want me to drive? She said, yeah, sure, take over. She in the back, knocked out, sleep. So, it's always been like that. It's nothing, you know, just been an easy, you know, transition. So that was a good thing. Yeah. And I'm happy and blessed about that because I know a lot of people have issues with that.
Yeah.
You know,
it's always a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a great thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, and with us, we kind of merged together too on we had a big engagement get together. So his family, my family, like everybody met. Everybody. And then as far as the wedding too, we all stayed in a big house. So, you know, just that's how we kind of merged the entire family because he got a big family and I have a big family too. So, Chris?
Excuse me. For me, it really was like an easy transition because, you know, I don't really, honestly, to be 100, I don't really rock with a lot of my family. So the only people that really mattered to me was my aunt and my uncle. And, you know, it was smooth sailing from there. Right. You know what I'm saying? As far as the rest of the family, you know, I won't stress on that. Yeah. Really didn't matter to me what they thought. Or none of that. But, you know, Crystal family's definitely cool people. You know, they ain't give me a hard time. So it was pretty smooth.
Yeah, so my family, they love Chris. He actually met them. So me and Chris, we met June 2014, and then he met my family on my birthday, because that's when Tamisha had that surprise birthday dinner thing. That's when he first met my family. So, yeah, they love him.
When we went to Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's the first time they met him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good. So, in-laws, sometimes, you know, there's always stigma behind in-laws. People are always like, oh, your in-laws, right? What is your experience with your in-laws? Are they good? Is it bad? Is it ugly?
For me, Chris' parents are deceased, so I never got a chance to meet them. So, as far as in-laws, his aunt and uncle, and then he does have a brother. They're really nice people. I love them. They love me, so it's great. We didn't really have any issues as far as his aunt, uncle, and brother. Now them damn cousins we talked about in that other episode, they something else. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so my in-laws are great. I'm glad I have a relationship with my in-laws where I can hang out with his mom. We can talk. I can call her if I need anything. She's silly and I can be silly with her. So that was always a good experience. And his dad always accepted me. So, I'm blessed to have in-laws that are, people I don't dread going to visit or dread going to see. I think that's a blessing because I know people who have horror stories. So I'm glad I don't have that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, my in-laws cool, man. Like my wife said, my mom and dad, they passed away. So to have someone, that's nice and welcoming, and to add to the family, it's a good thing. Mm-hmm. And they great people, awesome people. So, yeah.
Yeah, so my in-laws cool, man. Her dad, her mom love me to death. I love them. We got a great relationship. They both welcome me with open arms. And so yeah, that's how it is. They love me, I love them.
Yes, and I love my mother-in-law. She love me, I love her.
All right, so no horror stories in this in-law situation.
We ain't say all that. I just said I love my mother-in-law. And she loves me back.
Oh, that's beautiful. So if you have any horror stories, we need to know. Comment below.
Yes, Lord.
But we kind of touched about this earlier, but a lot of times when people get married, it's hard to divide holidays and things like that. So, or it's hard to manage holidays. So in your own personal relationships, how did you guys manage holidays when you got together, coming from two different, backgrounds and households?
For me, I knew her family was always gonna try to party, like, all the time.
Yeah, I feel like we kind of struggle with that still. You know what I'm saying? Because going to my family, going to your family, sometimes that is hard. So we try to pick times. I don't think we've been doing the best last year. I don't think we did good. Balancing going over to see everybody.
Oh yeah.
So we got to do better with that. But usually we try to make it to see everybody, his side, my side. But we did a little hosting this year, so we really didn't get out. But it is a struggle because we stay far from our family. It is a struggle trying to see everybody, but we try to do the best we can with that.
Yeah.
So for Chris and I, we typically try to do one holiday with my family. I'm at pretty much at this stage now where I like to stay at home. But we do try to make our rounds or whatever to see my family and his family. And that's something we probably should work on a lot better, especially because all my life I've always spent every single holiday with my family. And it's a struggle for my mom, but she'll be all right. Yeah. It is what it is. This is what happens when you get married.
Yes, yes, and that's why I say it is different. It's a struggle because my family is always having something. And it seems like everybody want to have something at the same time. Right. So it is a struggle trying to balance going here and then going there. And by the end of the day, we just tired. But yeah, so it is a struggle, and it is something definitely that we have to work on. We have to figure that out. What about you guys?
Mm-hmm. And like Bree said earlier about her mom being in one place, her sister being in one place, we definitely try to get together at least on Thanksgiving or Christmas, since we are so far away and not actually in the same state. So we try to work it out as best we can. Like this past Christmas, we was in Washington with her mom, so we spent Christmas with her this past year.
Yeah, and so what we do is we at least try to see my people at least once in the year, and then we'll spend time with his family and making sure we go to his dad's house and then his grandma's house just to make our rounds, to see everybody. So, but I know it is a struggle for everybody because it's like you said, Key, it's something new. And I think it's harder on your family than it is for you because they're used to seeing you there. So it's a struggle, but I would say make sure you balance it. Make sure it's not one sided where you're just going to one person's house. Balance it out so you see everybody. All right. So I was just talking about balancing. So who comes first in a relationship? Is it the spouse or is it your parents? Who comes first, and how do you navigate that?
Nico?
Well, this is interesting. But no, I would definitely say, of course, my wife is first. It is kind of a struggle. Not a bad struggle, but a little bit of a struggle because I'm used to it being my mom, my grandma, my aunt. So they definitely are on me like white on rice. So bringing to the mix, they definitely had to step back and, realize that's my wife, she's first and stuff like that because it can be a little hard, since they've all been all about Nico. So they just wanted to, throw it to Bree a little bit.
Yeah, and it was like when we first started dating, it was hard because everyone calls on Nico for everything. And it was an adjustment because I'm like, dang, I want my man from the South now. But, I got used to it. And, I got used to people being able to call on him and just knowing that they needed help or, they just needed him. And I understood that. And so that was something that I had to manage when we first got together. But I can say, like, his mom and aunt and grandma really do allow me to be his wife and allow me to step in that role. I know it was hard for them because that was their baby, you know what I mean? But they allowed me to step in that role. And it was kind of funny. It was kind of funny because during COVID, Nico got sick and had to be hospitalized. And during COVID, only one person could go to the hospital. And so this really showed me, all right, who's he going to choose? Is it going to be his mama or is his wife? So Nico was admitted like 3 times. And the second time, I had to go to work. And they're like, well, you can bring him down here and we'll take care of him. And I was like, well, I want to take care of my husband. But then I knew I had to go to work. So he went to his mom and grandma's house and he had to go back to the hospital. So they called me and I rushed to the hospital to go back to him. Mind you, there's only one person that could be admitted. So I was like, okay, well, I brought my stuff so I could stay in the hospital. And his mom was telling me what was going on. And so she parked in the space, but I was in my car too. And I was like, okay, she's about to bag up so I can have this parking space because this is the only one left. And so she bagged up, but she was just straightening it up. And she was like, I'll let you know what's happening. I'll call you later. I was like, what in the world? So his mom parked and ended up going to the hospital, but I think she felt bad because she ended up calling me and was like, hey, come up here, so you can be with your husband. And so I know that was a real test for them because they wanted to get in that hospital so bad, but they allowed me to be in the hospital with Nico and they just called me, so I could let them know what was going on. But it was really an interesting time because but it was funny.
Just to let everybody know, I've never been in the hospital like that before. This was very interesting. So for me to be in the hospital, they were kind of losing their minds a little bit.
Right. So it was difficult.
It was kind of bad.
Right. But when she bagged up, I was like, okay, I'm getting this spot. But she bagged back in.
Told her, you can keep going.
Right. But love you, Natty. So for y'all, who comes first? Your mama, daddy, uncle, aunt, or your spouse?
I'm going to say my husband comes first. But I will say I am a daddy's girl. So, after Chris did come my daddy. Woo, child. I don't know. My daddy called him coming. So, but yeah. Baby, you are first though. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, she definitely a daddy's girl. Even though she be talking mad junk though, but she
I get it from him. My daddy talk junk.
definitely spoiled. For real.
I will say my husband is definitely a mama's boy. So I know he gonna say that I come first.
How you know?
Well, he might say his mama come first, and that would be more believable. But no, I'm understanding that his mom needs more sometimes than I do. So I mean, him still going down, checking on his mom, doing what he needs to do for his mom. I'm definitely cool with that. I know with her, she is very much so like, you are his wife. He is your issue. Come get your husband. So I never have that kind of dynamic with her. She's definitely like, no, this is your husband. You need to call your wife. But with him, he does, if his mama call, he is coming, he's running. And I get it, because it's a little different with us right now after 2 years ago. So yeah. What do you think?
You first, baby.
You can say your mama first. It's okay.
No, you first.
Okay.
You definitely first. But at the end of the day, I am a mama's boy. But I'm also a husband that loves his wife dearly. And I made vows.
He convincing himself right now, y'all. That's why he talking so slow.
And God said, after him is you.
Okay.
That's right.
It's you, baby.
All right.
Mama, I love you.
Because there's nothing wrong with being a mama's boy.
Yeah, we have some mama boys in the room.
Yes, Lord, yes.
So moving on from merging families, let's talk about blended families. When should you introduce your kids to your significant other? You guys kind of talked about this earlier, but if you guys want to dive in a little deeper, when should you introduce your kids to your significant other?
So I don't play about my kids. If you know me, it's always been me and them. I don't play about them. So it did, like he said when we, earlier, it took a while for me to feel comfortable with that, bringing him around. So, and it was an adjustment. It was an adjustment for him and my kids too. Cause at first they was like, nope.
They did not like me.
Nope. So
Baby's natto.
yeah, they love him now. But yeah, in the beginning, it took, definitely over 6 months. It was definitely over 6 months. I needed to make sure that this, it was going to be something. I just don't bring everybody around my babies. So it took a while.
I think it was more than 6 months.
Yeah,
It was I think it was about 6 months before you even let me come to your house at all, period.
Yeah, it was a while.
All right, so for me, it definitely didn't take long at all for Crystal to meet the kids because I always had my kids. And from jump, the kids love Crystal. Everything about her, they loved her. So, do you remember what was the first gift? You remember the first gift you got, Jeremiah? It's 5 years old.
I remember the first gift I got, both of them was Christmas.
What was the gift?
Some clothes.
Yeah.
Because we said we won't doing gifts for each other. We'll just do for them. But even though I was around his kids early, it was always in like a group setting because his family, his aunt and uncle lived next door. So they was always having something.
Yeah.
But it took a while before it was just me, him, and the kids.
Right. But even then, when it was just me, her, and the kids, like it wasn't a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like they really got attached to her real quick. So.
Well, kind of going from there. So, you meet the kids. How do you step into the role of step parent or a bonus parent? Like, what is your mindset going into that? How do you,
I remember me and Chris having a conversation. Like once we realized we was serious, and I remember saying something like, I don't want to overstep my boundaries when it comes to his kids and as far as their mom. And he pretty much told me, was like, want no boundaries. So I was like, oh, okay. But I went in knowing that I'm not their mom and can't replace their mom, but I still went in as far as like being in that parent role.
Right. And that was something that was always clear is, we never tried to make it seem like, like she said, made it clear that she wasn't real mom, but, the work that she put in continuously and the love, it was abundant, so.
Yeah. I will say for me, because I am a mom, so any kids that I'm around, I'm going to be a mom. That's who I am. So I feel like I stepped into the role. I first wanted to make sure that their mom, that she was okay with that. And he also has a son. But when I first met him, I wanted to have a conversation with her too. It wasn't anything like, heavy or anything. His son's mom, she was really cool. But the girl's mom, she had her issues. She needed a little bit more, reassuring that I was, and at first it seemed like everything was cool with that. So, I feel like his kids did become very attached in the beginning. I will say we starting out, because this was the first time I was stepping into a bonus parent role. Mm-hmm. I feel like we should have made boundaries with the kids a little bit more clear, because they did have a mom, and they wanted to call me mom. But we should have established with those kids, because I should have never been like, okay, that's okay. You know what I'm saying? You can call me that if you want to. I just didn't know how to break that, because I didn't want to break the connection. Mm-hmm. But I definitely feel like considering her feelings should have been a part in that. And so like when the kids would put my number in their phone as mom, or and she would see that, it made her feel some type of way, which I think we should have set boundaries. We kind of missed the mark with that one. We missed the mark with that one.
Well, really, as far as me, like I was just trying to be a good person, really, overall, to the kids. Just step in and I just wanted to be there for them and whatever they needed, mentally, emotionally. I just wanted to provide that for them. So that's kind of the role that I stepped into, just trying to be a provider for them, and whatever they needed, I tried to be there for them.
So, Key, you kind of touched on this. What conversation should be had before blending? If you could do it over again, or if you could, help someone out there that's listening, what conversation should be had?
I feel like the main point, like if I could title this anything, is to know your role. Being a step parent, you are, just like it says on the paper, you're a bonus parent. You don't have to be involved in what goes on with the other parent. Your job is to support your spouse. Whatever your spouse needs from you, my communication is going to always be with him. I should not cross the lines and have conversations with her. Even if she's calling me, everything should go through my husband, and then we communicate about what I need. I feel like, so anybody, because we missed the mark. If I could tell anybody how to set their boundaries, it's just to know your role. Let the kids know that, yes, you are there for them after going to your parents first. And then if you feel like you are more comfortable coming to me, come to me. You know, I'm still here, but also letting them know you do have parents and they care about you too. But if you need me, I'm here. I am the bonus parent. I'm not mom. I'm not, I'm the bonus. So
yeah, we kind of jumped into it head first, like you said, not really knowing what to do, just wanted to be supportive of the kids, and like she said, kind of missing the mark. So I would say just know your boundaries. That's it.
Man, I can't say, as far as Crystal identifying what I needed and assisting with helping with my kids, she definitely stepped in and addressed it all. Like, even when I didn't say anything, she automatically knew, what I needed, where I was short at, and she filled in those areas, whether it was school clothes, whether it was words of encouragement, whatever the case may be, love, whatever that was absent that I needed and I couldn't, get it right, she helped me out. So I definitely love her for that.
Facts.
right. And see, I felt like with us, I stepped into that role too. Whatever those girls needed, I was there. You needed love. Whatever you need clothes, you need shoes, you need whatever. I am here for you. But in the process of me being that, the other mom she didn't like that. And I feel like, I don't know. I don't really know how I could have came at her differently. I think that I had several conversations trying to, make her feel comfortable with me or asking her what she needed from me. But sometimes, even if you're doing everything that you feel like you're supposed to be doing, sometimes we still have to just step back from the situation, and allow them to navigate whatever it is. Because sometimes it's not perfect. It's not always a perfect, union with the co-parent. It's not always perfect. Sometimes you will have to go through different situations. And again, it just goes back to being there to support your spouse, and whatever he may need when it comes down to those kids, you are there for him. And that's just kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah, so talking a little bit about boundaries, Crystal, you're a little different than Key and Bookie's situation because you didn't have any kids coming into the situation. So had you ever dated someone with kids, and what was your mindset dating someone with kids?
No, I've never dated anyone with kids, so it was all the way new to me. My mindset was pretty much, once me and Chris realized that we were serious, and we had that conversation as far as boundaries with me and the kids, and he pretty much said there's no boundaries because he was a single father and he had his kids every single day. So it was a little bit different. But I went in trying to be the best mother role that I could be for them, if that makes any sense. Like, I'm just going to be all the way honest. When he told me no boundaries, I didn't think about their mom, because what was there to think about? She was there, but she wasn't present, if that makes sense. So I didn't really think about her at all, pretty much.
So what would you tell people that are maybe like on their list of things? We had a previous episode called The List, like women that say, I can't date a man with kids. Like, what would you say to them?
I would say think about it, reconsider it, because there are a lot of parents out there that co-parent really well. Everybody is not a bitter baby mama. There's not always a bitter baby daddy. There are people who actually got a team and they make it work. So I would say just reconsider, try it out. I mean, you can't knock it until you try it.
Right. And I will also say, if you feel like this person that you're with, if they are worth, you want this person to be your husband, you may have to deal with the bitter baby mama. And I'm not trying to call God, listen, I'm not trying to call her bitter. You know what I'm saying? I don't, but you will have to maybe deal with a little tension. I know with me, you know, I have kids too. And I'll honestly say, me and my kid's father, we are definitely in a good place. He, you know, he was absent for some of it, but the way that he kind of switched everything around and the way that he kind of steps in for those girls now is completely different. I feel like our co-parenting union, and even with him and my husband, I feel like, God, like it's pretty dope. Honestly, I feel like it's cool, like it's peace. Whenever he sees them, he dap them up. We laugh, we joke at the games and stuff like that. I think it's really cool and it's peaceful as far as, you know, my co-parent situation. How do you feel about that?
I mean, we cordial, we get along, and everything all right.
Yeah.
And then I want to say, for the people that's out there dating someone with kids, and the co-parenting situation may not be the best, that's okay. I mean, it's gonna be like that. It is what it is. As long as you have the kids' best interests at heart, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
All that other stuff, don't even pay it no attention.
Yeah. And that goes into my next question. Why is it difficult, or what is difficult about co-parenting?
So I will say the difficult part about co-parenting would be if there are still, if it's still tension between the two parents. If there's still tension between the two parents, I think that part could be difficult for the bonus parent stepping into that role. I think that I can't really say that you should try to set boundaries with a person, because sometimes you can try to set those boundaries and you can try to make goals together, and that doesn't mean that person will always stay there. So a part that could make co-parenting difficult is if that person is, the other parent is still harboring some type of emotion.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, and that's one thing that I know it's still going on this side, but we kind of moved past that. You know what I'm saying? We used to let that, you know, affect the movement of things, but at the end of the day, the most important thing is the kids. You know what I'm saying? And we don't really let that get to us anymore. It used to be mad beef, mad arguments, but you know, the kids is what matter the most at the end of the day. So we just let, if you want to stay in the bitter, holding grudges, or whatever you got going on the other side, you can stay over there with that energy, and we're going to keep doing what need to be done.
Yeah, I love that. I think that we are definitely past that part in our relationship. Again, if that person chooses to be bitter, or whatever it is, feelings, because I don't want to label what is going on, then that is on them. I can't allow that to affect me the way that I first allowed that to affect me. So yeah, we are definitely in a better place when it comes to being a step parent, co-parent, whatever. We're in a better place when it comes to that.
All right.
Definitely.
And I guess you guys kind of answered the next question about what is the best way to keep the peace. To me, you guys are saying more like, you know, keep your boundaries. It sounds like you guys are saying, you know, don't let that affect you guys' relationship at the end of the day.
Right.
And so I guess the last little tidbit is, do you guys have any lasting or finishing tips that, to make co-parenting successful? Anything that you guys could give to the audience?
I would say don't take it personal. If a person the other parent is kind of like pushing you away or giving you a lot of grief or whatever it is, don't take it personal. Don't question yourself about, am I doing enough or am I not doing enough? Or am I doing, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's just that person and the stuff that they're going through. Again, be there to support your spouse. I'm going to say that over and over again. Your role is to be a wife or a husband to your spouse, not trying to force yourself to be cool with the other parent, force yourself on these kids. You are there to support your spouse.
Have your spouse back, like in whatever the situation may be, dealing with the kids or dealing with the other parent. Just like she said, just have your spouse's back in whatever, because the other person may be bitter, the other person may be this or that, but I just think that when kids is involved, like Crystal said in the earlier podcast, just try to be the best version of you for the kids. You don't want the kids to see like, oh yeah, they going back and forth, or this person don't like my dad or my mom or whatever. Just be there and to support the kids and support your spouse.
Right, and if you already tried to be the voice of reason and develop some type of structure and it's not working, you know what I'm saying? It's time to move on and focus on the family at hand. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
No wasting time.
Facts.
I mean, who really trying to beef the whole growth of the kids?
Mm-hmm. Right. Like, for real.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, you know what happens.
Yeah.
It does.
I just feel like if you just keep the kids first, always think about the kids, everything will work out.
Yeah.
Even if there's a parent that is harboring feelings, or not even just harboring feelings, but sometimes that parent may not like change. Mm-hmm. This is new. You coming in, you changing up, but keep the kids first. Everything will fall in place. And if it don't, like I said, it's okay. Our situation is not the best. I'm just keeping it real. But life goes on. We got a good life. These kids, they respect us, and it is what it is.
Right.
Yep.
For sure.
But the main thing, like she said, is to support your spouse, because the kids might not even like the bonus parent. In some relationships, you got some of the bonus parents. You know what I'm saying? The kids don't even like them. So at the end of the day, it's all about your spouse.
All right. Well, I think that was a nice wrap up for this episode. So what you guys can do is comment below. What's the best way to merge families? Subscribe, check us out, and remember,
the wedding
is only the beginning.